We now return to Ace Attorney Chronicles. No, not that again. It was flashing and it made me think. Oh, I'm just going to do that one. We're going back to Garadeb's room. Perhaps he won't be here this time. Ah, you pair again. Tell me, was the detective chap, I forget his name, still hard at work down there? Mr. Herlock Sholmes? Ah, yes, rings a vague bell. All that detective business isn't really my thing, I'm afraid. Well, Mr. Sholmes is in his element down there. Jolly good show. Another cup of tea, if you please, Joe? Now then, why don't you... For the umpteenth time, woman, will you watch what you're ballywell doing? I shall be serving dinner shortly, sir. Yes, of course. Frightfully rude of me, but I'm afraid I shall have to ask you to take your leave, if you'd be so kind. Oh, yes, of course. We are deeply grateful for all your assistance. Not at all, not at all. Don't get much chance to talk with young foreigners like yourselves. It's been a pleasure. Best of luck in all that. Perhaps you could see yourselves out. According to Mr. Sholmes, Mr. Garadeb is hiding something, and since no other avenues of investigation seem open to us at the moment, perhaps we should do some digging. Okay, but I don't... What is that? What's he doing over there? Mr. Sholmes? Ah, we meet again, my dear fellows. Good gracious, what did you sneak in here? Herlock Sholmes, sir, at your service. Whatever were you doing over by the window? God damn it. I hate when I've got to do voices back to back. I mean, I don't have to. I'm putting this on myself. I am given to watching the evening sky as the sun sets, madam. Yet, sadly, cheerful as the room downstairs undoubtedly is, it lacks an aperture for such observation. So I took the liberty of borrowing a small corner of space by the window up here. Well, keeping an eye to one's windows at dusk is the prudent thing to do in London, I'm gathering. Oh, and one other thing, Mr. Naruhodo. Oh, me? I thought perhaps you might be in need of a certain great detective's great mind. Wait, he's not talking about... Is he? I didn't expect to be going through that again so soon. You mean, Mr. Sholmes? There is a mighty secret in this modest room. My eyes see even the most trivial of trifles. The ones on the table there? I take it you're prepared, Mr. Naruhodo? I think so. There is just enough time for one of my greatly admired great deductions. Let us conclude the matter before dark. Okay. Mr. Garadeb, though it would seem you are a military man of considerably distinguished service, your standing as a landlord is most certainly not what one might call first-rate. Hmm? I'm afraid, sir, that it is all too clear to me. There are two conclusions I have been able to draw by a careful observation of your living arrangements. I beg your pardon? I'm starting to get into the judge voice here. The first is that even as we speak, you are concealing the presence of a ferocious beast in your care. Eh? And the second is that as a result of the beast's violent rampage, you've lost something very dear to you. Mr. Naruhodo, look. The old man's broken out in a cold sweat. Unbelievably, it seems Mr. Sholmes's conclusions are both spot on. How could you possibly... How could I possibly know, you mean to inquire? The answer couldn't be simpler, sir. For in the dense jungle of logic and reasoning, I am the king of beasts. Okay. And I know only too well that wild beasts are not easily tamed. So, Shall we begin? Once again, Herlock Sholmes is proud to present his Logic and Reasoning Spectacular. Okay. The Great Deduction. The game is afoot. Topic 1. Nature of the Beast. The Lion. It certainly shouldn't take a great detective to see that a fearsome beast has been on the rampage of late within these four walls. Thus, we are faced with the question, what form might this beast take? Oh, really? He's just gonna look at it? But he's not looking at the lion. Ah, for a man with a military breeding, your eyes are uncommonly candid. Your furtive glance, Mr. Gerritib, leads us directly to the answer. The true nature of the beast that has run rampant here is revealed by that lion statue. Yes, though an army man, you appear unimposing at best, a fact that has fueled your admiration for the mighty lion, the king of beasts. But what is this piffle, I ask you? In the end, your admiration became so great, in fact, that you had a living, breathing specimen shipped from India, which you tried to keep in this very house. But lions are from Africa. It would get... Ooh, what is on your face, sir? Yet living with such a wild... Probably a T-burns if... Yet living with such a wild beast proved more difficult than you had imagined. The chilling traces of a wild rampage are still very much in evidence. Well... Yet as we look around, the beast in question fails to present itself. Where could this angry creature have disappeared to? Madam? Me? I pray you do not consider me unchivalrous, but it is plain to me that with one glance in your direction... It is? Your dress pocket gives us a handsome clue as to the beast's current whereabouts. Protruding from it is a handbill advertising a circus show. Yes, you sought to dispose of this terrifying lion, Mr. Gerritib, at Patty's Circus, a traveling show currently sojourning in a nearby park. I have observed the tents. You sold the savage lion, sir, to the circus troupe. I most certainly did not. I believe I made my point. The fearsome beast which ran amok in this room was an Indian lion, and a simple visit to the circus now will reveal the lion prancing happily through a ring of fire. A rampaging Asiatic lion. Aftermath. Now, Mr. Gerritib, it is plainly clear that you still have deep feelings for this formidable beast. Okay, look what he's doing with his hand there. Indeed, in that blithe pose, the distress this loss has caused you is veritably tangible. Your head weighs heavy on your shoulders, the pain you feel being revealed by that supporting arm. Amid fits of tears, let your beloved beast go. The strain of losing something so dear to you is clearly visible on your visage. Nonsense, man, I simply... But what, we must now ask ourselves, is the true cause of this pain? And we need only follow the direction of your gaze to find the answer. Yes, it is this pile of bills that has given rise to the pain you suffer. Every envelope contains another demand for payments. For cartloads of meats, potatoes, wheat, and tea. Indeed, feeding your beloved has had a devastating impact on the financial circumstances of your household. And so you had no choice but to let it go. Yes, well, Now, in a final fit of rage, the ferocious beast carried out one last unimaginable attack. unimaginable. The aftermath of which can be clearly seen by observing the carpet over there, burned by the candle, the missing one from the holder. A very expensive woolen carpet, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, dearie me. What could have caused such a destructive outburst? Well... This time, madam, I'm afraid it is you who has inadvertently revealed the truth to me. Your wandering eye has settled upon the answer very neatly indeed. Yes, to explain the dire state of the carpet, we need only look at the Tower of Cakes. There is no creature more dangerous on this earth than a beast with an unsatiated appetite. Was it, or was it not, once said by a certain noblewoman, if they have no bread, let them eat cake? Food is at the heart of this tragedy, in fact. Whatever do you mean? Having tired of the taste of cake, the beast began to stalk its next prey. I'm sure I need not spell out the nature of this final act of destruction carried out by the beast. There is only one logical conclusion. Worked into a frenzy by hunger, the lion attacked and ate the carpet. The teeth marks in the carpet are a perfect match with those of a lion I once saw in India. Okay, the carpet gnawed on by the starving lion. Thus concludes Sherlock Holmes' great deduction of this beastly puzzle. What is the matter with you, Joan? You're pouring scalding hot tea all over me. I'm switching your accent again, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Mr. Garrity, but I'm afraid I didn't notice. My deductions can be startlingly sharp. It stands to reason that your cup runneth over. Indeed, my revelations can make people spill tears at times, too. Oh? Mr. Sholmes, sorry to butt in again, but could I make an observation? Why, certainly, Mr. Naruhodo. What is it, again? Well, your deductions just now. Do you really think a lion could have fit inside a room this size? Indeed, it is the only explanation for the facts. The terrifying truth all too often lies beyond the realms of common sense. But wouldn't it be an idea to consider what lies inside the realms of common sense as well? But if an uncaged lion had run amok in this very room, surely Mr. Garrideb and his maid would have been hurt, or worse. Ah, that's where you're stuck. No doubt the former military man held his own against the beast using that large cannon. I thought you said they sold the lion to the circus. And what about the food? Meat and potatoes are one thing. But I don't believe I've ever heard of a lion that drinks tea. Ah, my dear Miss Sasato, it occurs to me with some regularity that irrespective of race and breeding, whenever anyone lands on Great British soil, they are infused with a highly appropriate taste for afternoon tea. Oh, what a glorious notion. Well then, Mr. Naruhodo, it's your turn to shine again. I had a feeling this was coming. A slight massage, that's all Mr. Sholmes's deductions need. You can do it. Excellent. I've been waiting for my trusty partner in deduction to step forward. Mr. Naruhodo. We don't even know yet whether or not this is going to help with Mr. Natsume's case. Still, uncovering the truth is always worthwhile, whatever the motivation. At least, that's what I want to believe. Let us start again. From the beginning of Sherlock Holmes's Logic and Reasoning Spectacular. Okay. Course correction. Hold it, Mr. Sholmes. A rampaging Asiatic lion. Bears and beasts have been on rampage lay with these four walls. I forget how we interject and correct this. So we're faced with the question, what form the beast might take? A man with military breeding, your eyes are uncommonly candid. Furtive glance. Leads us to the answer. The lion. Okay. Guess it just automatically brings that. I really didn't see the lion thing coming. No, but if you observe Mr. Garreteb's reaction, it rather seems as though some beast did indeed run amok here in this room. Yes, something with a very fierce nature. But it couldn't have been a lion transported from India. Oh, sorry. So what was it then? We must follow Mr. Garreteb's gaze. That will lead us to the true answer. Okay, but... a misfired mortar shell, perhaps? Okay, well, I guess we'll look at it. Well, this is the lion statue that Mr. Sholmes picked out. Yes, I wonder. Perhaps if you did live with a lion, it would prove to be a rather sweet companion. I think that's like a mouse trying to tell its family that the cat around the house is sweet. I suppose it is a bit of a flight of fancy, isn't it? Anyway, the beast we're looking for is something else. Let's have a good look around. Okay, there we go. Okay, mortar shells is what I was thinking. There's nothing else here. These are shells from the cannon, aren't they? What a strange place to keep them. I imagine they have some significance to Mr. Garreteb from his time in the army. Of course, he mentioned a battle to us before, didn't he? You remember? He said that he'd been shot in the knee. Perhaps it was one of these that hit him. I feel like he would not have a leg if that were the case, Miss Sato. If around that size had hit his knee, there'd be nothing left of it, or Mr. Garreteb for that matter. Mr. Sholmes has a Persian slipper. What? And this man has spent shells. Perhaps it's customary in Britain to display, well, rubbish on the mantelpiece. How can I look over here? Oh, there we go. Well, that appears to be the only other thing, so I guess we present that then, huh?
Take that!
The true identity of the beast that tore this room apart is these shells, with their butter wouldn't melt With their butter wouldn't melt accomplice, the cannon. With their butter wouldn't melt what the fuck does that mean? But war is good for nothing. It brings only destruction. Something we must all strive to understand. That deduction was wanting in every way. Yes, I was wanting you to hear it. I'm quite proud of it. I find myself wanting never to have heard of it. I'm quite pained by it, in fact. Oh, sorry. I'll try again. Well, the only other thing to present was the damn lion. Well, what we do know with some certainty is that a destructive creature has been at work in this room. Okay. Okay. Yes. Now we're just repeating. It's just repeating. There's nothing... Ooh, oh. A photo frame. What's this photograph? It appears to be from Mr. Garreteb's wedding. He looks very happy, doesn't he? He does, but you can't make out his bride. No, how unfortunate. Something must have struck the glass directly over the woman's face. I wonder what happened. Probably best not to delve too deeply there. I don't know. I mean... Oh, wait, we can actually look further? Okay. This must have been when Mr. Garreteb was still in the army. He seems to be carrying his rather stout bride effortlessly the irony, and beaming a smile at the same time. I suppose he was very strong in his younger years. Hard to imagine now. He's as thin as a rake. The glass is broken, so you can't see the bride's face at all. But no amount of cracks could hide the woman's plump form. I think powerful would be kinder than plump, Mr. Naruhodo. Yes, she certainly looks that. There's a lot of horsepower there. Not someone you'd want to upset, that's for sure. Oh, look, have you noticed her wedding ring? It's very large, isn't it? Yes, that's an unusual design. It looks like some sort of embellished sunflower. Sunflower. No doubt we shall need to know that. Okay, so, what are we twisting around here? Can we actually present that? We can. I see nothing else besides that. It really didn't look like it looked like he was looking this way. It didn't look like he was, unless his eyes, I guess, were twisted around inside of his head. Maybe. But it didn't look like he was looking that far. It looked like he was looking here, but seeing as how this is the only other thing...
Take that!
Behind the lion statue on the mantelpiece, almost deliberately hidden from view, is a photograph. Though I have yet to examine it in detail, I can assure you that it holds the answer. Because I'm employing an extremely advanced detection technique called jumping to conclusions, you see. What precisely was your intention with that, Mr. Naruhodo? Just following the natural progression of the deduction. Sometimes the truth hurts. Well, the truth is you do not have to have a turn for observation or deduction. Did that hurt? Yes, a lot. Okay, I guess we just present the lion then. This must extend something. If we click on the lion, there must be options that extend there. I'm not missing anything. I can't go up or down. I can only go back and forth like this, so...
Take that!
I don't know what this is going to do. There's something missing here. There is no beast more ferocious than the lion, and no lion that wouldn't unleash its ferocity in unfamiliar surroundings such as this. So, it must have been a lion. No other proof is necessary. Are you quite concentrating? You've identified exactly what I did originally. Oh, yes, I have. Sorry. Well, I do understand. As inimitable as I am, people do like to try. But you won't make a great detective like that, nor even a great detective's assistant. An assistant's assistant, then. An ass's ass. Alright, I'll think again. It's a very weird way, so, like, Sholmes is just fooling around then at this point. He knows it's wrong then, because otherwise he would be like, well, yeah, see, I was right. Okay, I am confused as shit then, because there is... Is it the fire? Is it... Okay, come on. There is literally nothing left for me to look at. What really caused the damage in this room? Well, we know the damage to the carpet was by the candle, but I can't get over there. I don't know, is there something behind this? Do I just have to give up on this one? I can't go back. There's the lion statue, the photograph, the mortar shells. I don't know. There's nothing else I can show. Am I meant to lose this one? Like, Do I just have to... Can I present what I can look at here? I can.
Take that!
Jesus. The true nature of the beast that has run rampant here is revealed by that newlywed bride. Precisely, Mr. Naruhodo. No other explanation could possibly fit. Yes, this framed print pictures your wife, Mr. Garrett. And while we lament the fact that her face is obscured, we can still make out her mighty arms, and note the considerable horsepower they must Would you stop referring to her as a horse? Indeed, surely any woman of such powerful constitution would be honored to be described as a beast, would she? Honored might be stretching a point. Too late. The fact remains that the beast which so clearly savaged this room was your wife, Mr. Garrett. The smack on the face. The chilling traces of a wild rampage are still very much in evidence. Well, yes, as we look around, the beast in question fails to present itself. Where could this angry creature have disappeared to? Madam? Me? I pray you do not consider me unshil- Oh, here we go again, okay. The dress pocket, okay. Let's just skip forward. The dress pocket gives us some clues, okay. The poor, fragile, defenseless woman is beside herself. Well, I don't know about fragile. In fact, you might say she has a lot of horsepower under her. Oh, dear. Anyway, Mr. Sholmes is quite right. There's no sign of Mrs. Garrett anywhere. We're looking at her. But it seems there may be a clue as to her whereabouts. A clue that this maid is trying to hide. I wonder where Mr. Garrett's wife could be. I present the maid? Teapot. Sure, let's go through all the things. What a charming little teapot, and it's in pristine condition. Joan has been pouring some deliciously fragrant tea from it for Mr. Garrett, hasn't she? Well, not so much for Mr. Garrett as on Mr. Garrett, wouldn't you say? I wouldn't dream of drawing attention to it. Two tightly shut eyes to avoid even the chance of a giveaway glance. Pursed lips to prevent any secrets from slipping out. Rounded cheeks to deflect any abuse that might be hurled her way. Yes, this is an unnervingly powerful woman, Miss Susato. It's your turn of phrase that's unnerving, Mr. Naruhodo. I wonder if my guess chances... Oh my. Oh my. We can... Okay. Okay. Well, that's cool. Well, I mean, obviously the big thing here is that. But now I can look around the entire room. They really... 3D has done wonderful things for this series. Although, to be fair, the first Phoenix Wright game had a few 3D clues that you could spin around with the stylus on the DS. Okay, well, obviously we need to be picking up on... Oh, wait. No, I was just getting close to the maid. Okay, well... Wait, what? What do you mean? What do you mean? What reveals Mrs. Garrett's current whereabouts? Okay, well, let's just present the maid then.
Take that!
The music didn't stop, so this is incorrect. I'm not even sure if I should voice this. It's impossible to believe it could be true, yet for some reason the thought came into my mind that this serving maid is in fact a mighty goddess of destruction. And what precisely was your intention with that, Mr. Naruhodo? Just following the natural progression of deduction, yada yada. We're wrong. Okay. Well, the only other thing is the teapot. So I thought last time. Christ, come on! So I thought, but maybe there's more? Oh boy. Aha! There it is. She's wearing a very large ring. Look. Oh yes, a sunflower design with some rather nice embellishments. And it's on the ring finger of her left hand, which means it's surely a wedding ring. It looks like it's on there for life, too. I can't imagine it would slide off a finger of that size. That's something to think, Mr. Naruhodo, not to say. You know, Mr. Garredeb's wife in the photograph had a ring very much like this one. It was a large sunflower design as well. Really? You have a great memory for these things. A large sunflower wedding ring. It's quite a coincidence that they have the same ring, isn't it? Okay, now we can present.
Take that!
There you go. Your wedding ring gives us a handsome clue as to the beast's current whereabouts. Indeed it does. That flowery band gleaming on your finger gives you away. For it is identical to the one shown on the hand of Mr. Garredeb's bride in this photographic print. In other words, you are no ordinary household maid. No. You are Mr. Garredeb's lucky bride. You are Mrs. Garredeb herself. Oh my word! Well, a jolly fine detecting, sir. As you rightly surmised, this is my wife, yes. By Joan. Rather let herself go, you might say, but she was a bally corker back. It would appear that you don't live in the most comfortable of circumstances. After all, you are a retired army man, yet you are in the business of renting out rooms. I would assume, therefore, you have insufficient means to employ a maid. Would that be correct? It's not right, I tell you. I was second lieutenant of the 3rd Regiment. A man has his pride, don't you know? My golly, it's a sorry thing when a chap can't even afford to have a single maid in his employ. Yes, here in London, one is rather judged. A household cannot be considered worthy of society if it employs no staff at all. Though in my considered opinion, such concerns about appearances are a folly. You mean Mr. Garredeb has his wife work as his maid? Precisely. Am I right, Mr. Garredeb? Only in company, obviously. But listen here, this must remain a secret. Tip-top secret. Please. The raging wife of Mr. Garredeb. Solved. Okay. The carpet, we figured this one out. It's the damn candle. Now, Mr. Garredeb. Okay. Da-da-da-da-da. Let's skip forward. We've already had this. Oh. Yeah, okay. No, so nothing has changed. Nothing has changed whatsoever. I wish you could go faster on this crap. Okay, the pain is on your supporting arm. Mr. Sholmes is quite something. He's still calling Mr. Garredeb's wife a beast. Yes, as a woman that feels rather uncomfortable. But Mrs. Garredeb is standing beside her husband as we speak. In other words, he hasn't lost his beloved at all, has he? Oh, how true. So perhaps that supporting arm that seems to be propping up his head has some other significance then. According to Mr. Sholmes, Mr. Garrideb's pain is tangible, though. What could that pose of his really signify? One would imagine. Oh my, look at that bright red mark. Gosh, that's quite something, and clearly made by somebody's hand. Yes, Mr. Garrideb has been slapped on the face, it seems. Hard. I've never seen such a clearly defined mark. Whoever could have done such a thing? Well, there's a very limited number of candidates, I'd say. Okay, is this the last thing I want? No, let's look at the pipe, too. Let's look at all the red herrings, why not? It's a very large pipe, isn't it? Yes, anyone who has something that size hanging out of his or her mouth on a regular basis is sure to have a serious chin like Mr. Garrideb's. But what's that white binding around it all about? Okay, well that's probably a clue for another time, the broken pipe. Can we actually see the cane? Oh, wait a minute. He's got a moon ring. Mr. Garrideb certainly looks glum. According to Mr. Sholmes' deduction, that's because he's having to endure the acute pain of losing something dear to him. But we know that he hasn't lost his wife. So that means there must be another cause for the pain he's suffering. Okay, like, it's literally the slap cheek, one would imagine. But what about that pipe? Red herrings tend to be not so red herrings. Like, you'd think that, okay, well, it's not the slap that hurt, it was my lucky pipe. Okay, well, let's go with the obvious one.
Take that!
Your head weighs heavy on your shoulders, the pain you feel being revealed by that slapped cheek. And of course, the deliverer of that impressive mark on your cheek that refuses to fade was you, Madame Joan Garrideb. Well, yes. You've been desperate to hide the slap mark on your cheek, sir. Yes. Unmanned me, she did. How the blazes? How did you work that out, man? Nothing escapes the notice of one trained in the art of observation, my dear fellow. That's why you haven't looked directly at us even once. To keep your other side from view. Well, Now, let us proceed to the next conundrum. Why were you subjected to such a violent slap? In other words, we must ask ourselves what caused Madame Garrideb to fly into a rage. We need only follow the direction of the gaze into the end. Okay, and that's when we look at the ticket. We need to examine that ticket. Or bills, whatever. It's this pile of bills. Didn't Mr. Sholmes say that the bills were all for lion fodder? Yes, but now we've established that the lion never existed, which can only mean that the thing responsible for gobbling up all that food was Mr. Garrideb's wife. Mr. Naruhodo, she's a person, not a thing. Yes, well, she's also a person who gave her husband a mighty slap around the face. One so hard that it left a perfect hand mark, in fact. Yes, why would a woman want to hit her husband with such force, I wonder? I'd love to know the answer to that question. Let's examine, but oh, hello. Looking at these bills, it certainly amounts to a great deal of food. Meat and potatoes by the cartload, wasn't it? Well, looking at the two of them, you can tell immediately who eats the lion's share in this household. Well, at least we're no longer talking about an actual lion anymore. I'm imagining it's got to be this lovely... whatever. Ah, someone must be reading this book at the moment. There's a bookmark here, look. Mr. Garrideb is clearly an avid reader. Oh, wait a minute. I don't think this is a bookmark. Oh no, so it isn't. It's a note, written in a woman's hand. Oh, James, I love you. Yours, Mary. And look next to the signature here. Lip marks, made with lipstick. Oh, what a passionate and romantic Susato. Don't get any ideas, Susato-san. Oh dear, I'm sorry. So this bookmark is actually a love note then. Okay. Can we examine it again now that it's changed what it is? So this card that looks like it's being used as a bookmark is actually a love note. Yes, reading, "Oh James, I love you, yours, Mary." But Mrs. Garrideb's first name is Joan, isn't it? Yes, I believe we may be heading into dangerous territory here. It's very conspicuous after all, isn't it? You mean the bright red lips next to the woman's signature? Yes, it's the first thing you notice, of course, and it rather makes your heart skip a beat. There's broken plates. Oh dear, this plate has been smashed to pieces, and nobody seems inclined to tidy up the mess. Perhaps it's some sort of high art. Really, Mr. Naruhodo? Well, anyone who has a cannon on display in their living room is clearly a little eccentric. Yes, let's call it eccentricity. Okay, well, I think we know what the actual answer is, but just in case, stack of books. There are a lot of books stacked up on the shelf here. Look, all novels that I've never heard of. It would appear somebody has purchased them all from a second-hand bookshop. I think Mr. Garrideb is something of a book lover. Okay, will that come into play? Okay, well, I think we'll present this.
Take that!
Yes, it is this love note that has given rise to the pain you suffer. Oh, James, I love you, yours, Mary. Passionate indeed. Perhaps the sender of this note, a certain Miss Mary, is the fly in the ointment here? Well, there you go.
But I don't know the bally woman.
You don't know her.
That note wasn't written to me. It was just the book. I don't know how it got there.
It was just in there, you say?
That's right. That's what I've been saying.
Okay.
A likely story. Now listen here, Joan, old egg. I explained at the time. I bought the book at that second-hand place. That note must have already been in there.
So the previous owner of the book was using the note as a bookmark, you mean?
That's right. That's what I've been saying. Ah. A likely story. For heaven's sake, woman, look at the name. It's written to James. My name, in case you'd forgotten, is John. A likely story. Are you questioning my name now?
And there we have it. Arouse the suspicions of the female heart, and you unleash a beast with a most ferocious bite. Now, in a final fit of rage, the ferocious beast did one last unimaginable attack. Okay, but let's go this way, over here. They didn't bite and chew up the carpet. God, I wish you could skip these things. Why wouldn't you do that? Have you never played a visual novel before? Thank you. But surely Mrs. Garrideb didn't eat the carpet. No, of course not. But there doesn't seem to be any doubt that the state of disarray that this room is in is a result of her wild temper. No, that's true. So this is the last part of Mr. Sholmes' deduction we need to fix. We need only follow Mrs. Garrideb's gaze, and that will tell us the real answer. Alright, let's see what we can see. Yes. Now we'll just look at everything as usual. So many cakes. Is that all you can think about? Well, look at them, Mr. Naruhodo. There's a mountain of them, and they all look so delicious. It's more of a tower than a mountain, I'd say. It's a mountain, and it's my hope that one day in our very homeland, I will be able to perform the tea ceremony at the foot of such a mountain. It's definitely a tower. The Circus Hambill. It looks to be in Russian. This is an advertising handbill for the circus. Batty's Circus. It's in a nearby park. Isn't this the same as the one we saw earlier? We saw a park? What? We saw one earlier? The one that was folded up in Mrs. Oh. Folded up in Mrs. Garrett's pocket. For a minute there I thought we'd missed a location. Perhaps they're very great circus lovers? It couldn't be that the Hungry Lion is somehow involved again here, could it? Oh dear, I do hope not. This looks like a very old candlestick, doesn't it? The base looks too small. Surely it's very unstable. It looks to me like even the slightest knock could make it topple over. Oh dear, that would be dangerous. Wait, take a closer look at this. There's one candle missing. Yes, I didn't notice that before. Why is that, I wonder? Why is one candle of the three missing from its holder? Okay, before we do the obvious, as always, I would like to look around. Okay, now that appears to be it. Wait a minute, what is that? Okay, we can look at the carpet. The carpet here has been ripped to shreds. Yes, and according to Mr. Scholz's deduction, the tears match those made by an Italian lion, an Indian lion's teeth exactly. Oh, look here. What is it? If you look closely at the edge, you can see scorch marks. Oh, yes, so you can. In that case, perhaps the carpet wasn't eaten in the normal sense at all. Let's rethink this with that in mind. Really? You can't pick the carpet itself. Or the candle. Okay. Well, to explain the dire state of the carpet, we couldn't look at the carpet, explaining the state of the carpet, so we must look at the candlestick. It's missing. Where is it? It's down there. Hopefully that's how this leads. No. Wrong button. Dog. Present.
Take that!
Yes, to explain the dire state of the carpet, we need only look at the candlestick. Most illuminating, my dear fellow, and of course the only possible way out of this logical labyrinth. Yes, the remnants of a ferocious attack in which the carpet was devoured are clearly visible. Indeed they are. The scorch marks at the edge clearly give the truth away. Scorch marks? It would appear that this room was the scene of a little marital altercation. Mrs. Garrett's mighty arm muscles left an impression not only on her husband's face, but on the entire room. The force of her strike caused a candle to fall from the holder, and caused a Dragon Ball-like shockwave that smashed all the crockery. Brilliant. It all goes together. And in seconds, the carpet was alight, and the whole corner of the room in flames. Yes. The most ferocious beast in this world is neither a violent lion nor a vengeful woman, but fire. And in this room, that ferocious beast bared its claws and ran amok. Eloquently put, my dear fellow. So you see, there is but one conclusion here. After the sparks of marital discord flew, this room was the scene of a fire.
Mr. Sholmes, sir, I salute you.
Carpet scorched by a small fire. I thought, isn't wool fire resistant? They said it's a woolen carpet, right?
It's these dashed long winter nights, you know. Nothing to do but read in front of the fire. Luckily, there's a jolly good second-hand bookshop just around the corner. Buy all my old novels there.
And in the pages of one particular novel, you discovered some rather illicit material, for which your wife admonished you harshly, it seems.
Don't know about admonished. Demolished might be rather closer to the mark. And beast is most certainly an apt description.
Here we go again. And the carpet, was that destroyed by a fire when a candle fell on the floor?
Afraid to say it was. Happened at the blink of an eye, you know. The whole place filled with smoke. Couldn't see a bally thing. I was caught between the old stick's rage and the raging flames.
You paint a torrid picture, sir. One that would have been most entertaining. Sympathy for you.
It didn't take long for the fire to spread, of course. The bally furniture started going up as well. We've had to hide the mess behind the screen for some time. Or for the time being, rather.
Over here, Mr. Garrideb?
Well, you have nothing more to hide now, if you'll allow me.
So this is all about saving face, or there's gotta be more to this, yeah?
Had all my favorite old novels in that case. But as soon as the fire got hold of them, that was that. Whoosh, up in smoke.
Well, they don't look that bad. Gosh.
And then the wife started hurling things at me.
What a terrible sight it must have been.
There I was, back up against the window under heavy enemy fire, incendiary books incoming 10 to the dozen. Worst of it is, I lost my favorite book, called The Lion's Pride.
The Lion's Pride, ah yes, your notorious love of big cats coming through again.
I assure you, the title didn't influence my choice in the slightest.
So the poor man really did lose something dear to him as a result of the ferocious beast's rampage. Mr. Sholmes's deductions turned out to be correct once again. It can only be described as a great British wonder.
I tell you, it was total carnage. Flames everywhere, and the old stick in full fettle.
Out of interest, what time of day was that?
Oh, not sure I can remember. It was 2 days ago now. Let's see, around 5 o'clock, I think.
So at exactly the same time, as a terrifying incident was unfolding outside your window on the street below.
Even more terrifying on the inside, I can assure you. The whole blighty could have been flattened outside my window at that moment, and I wouldn't have noticed a dashed thing.
Oh, really? Mr. Sholmes?
Yes, Mr. Naruhodo, what can I do for you?
Well, I think we've got to the bottom of Mr. Garrideb's situation now, but what does it have to do with Mr. Natsume's circumstances?
I can't help you there, I'm afraid.
What?
My dear fellow, if you recall, I did say as much from the outset. I warned you that although I knew the retired army man may be hiding something, I could not be sure whether this secret would prove to be of relevance or not.
I mean, we know that neither of them saw anything if they're ever called the witness. I just knew you were going to say that.
So now, Mr. Naruhodo, you mustn't lose heart. Bear in mind that all things fall into one of only two categories, those relevant to the case and those not.
That makes no sense to me.
Well, no matter. It is of far greater importance that you make up your mind now.
Sorry?
The visiting hours of the prison will soon be over.
Oh no, is it that time already? If we're to accept Mr. Natsume's case, we have official paperwork to attend to. So that's it. No more time to think.
Perhaps you'd like to betake yourselves to bidding us farewell now? I must prepare supper for Mr. Geradeb.
Oh yes, I'm so sorry. Thank you both very much for your time. Saseki-san will be waiting for us, and I'm going to have to give him an answer. I think we just move on, then? Must be, eh? Oh, no, not the room. I forget. We're going to the prison. I like that it actually does give you just a little bit of a hint there. It's like, we haven't visited in a while, should we? Well, that's where we're going next. But not right now. I'm going to end this one here. I will see you next time.